All right, hockey fans, welcome back. As promised, it's time to get into combine season. I cannot explain to everyone at home how excited I am to finally get skates back on the ice, drop the puck, play a little hockey, and start getting things back to normalcy. And one place where this normalcy is going to start yet again is Fraser, Michigan for the Detroit Combine. This is an exciting event, an awesome event, and with us to talk a little bit about that event today is head coach of the Metro Jets and one of the best, I've said this before on the broadcast, one of the best interviewees of all time, Coach Justin Quenneville. Coach, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me, and no pressure, I guess, right?
That's it. No pressure at all. I mean, we always like to put people when we get a good interview, there's nothing better, right? And this is going to be a good one today because we're talking about the opportunity to get back on the ice and get seen by, in our opinion, the best hockey minds in the country, in the world. It's going to be the Detroit Combine. Can you tell us a little bit about, if I'm a player at home right now in quarantine, how can I get signed up to participate in the Detroit Combine?
Thanks. Basically, it's a pretty simple process. Just go online to the league website at www.usphl.com. There'll be a registry. Very simple. I know the cost is fairly low, which was one of the big targets that we wanted, was to make a point that we're not trying to make this an incentive-based event or a fundraiser, but more or less an opportunity to get better exposure at a tier 2 level that we feel like kids need to be educated on a little bit more out here. So for us, it's an exciting time, but looking at the website itself, everything should be visible for them right there.
Now, we talk about this combine experience. I was talking about it. I mean, I try my best to stay in shape during this whole thing, but there are some times where you get yourself, you can get a little stagnant throughout quarantine. A lot of these guys are going to have a little bit of cement in the shoes right now. There hasn't been a lot of ice time available around the country, if any at all. Now, what is a player going to be in for when they show up at the combine? What kind of workouts will they see? What kind of work will they be doing? And what can they expect on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, it'll be similar to your typical tryout-based event at the junior level. Obviously, we're going to have games for the guys. We'll build in a little structure so that it's not just come in, come out, and you're done. I mean, we're going to want to get some face time with them. We're also going to take into consideration, given the time that we're going through right now, that kids have not had the proper opportunity to get to a point where they feel like they're 100% for a combine. But the benchmark is set for everyone, but more or less just a tryout format with some games over the course of 2 days. So it's not too taxing on them. And obviously we'll take everything into consideration to make sure that they're safe and healthy.
Now, talk about these combines and yours in particular. I should say, what sets these combines apart? Because, a lot of times, especially around this time of year, there are so many opportunities for these players to sign up and go to a similar event. But what sets this combine apart from others?
Well, I think for us in particular in the Midwest region was like I touched on earlier, was to educate people of the opportunities that are out there beyond what they know that's in front of them here. The NCDC's done a very good job of providing opportunities for the collegiate level and been a great model for the USPHL Premier in particular, and for us with the Jets. To be able to help expose our players to not just a higher tier, but to other opportunities out east. So for the combine itself, I think it's important that kids take this as just another means of exposure to another demographic that's obviously made a big name for itself out east for such a long time, but with the goal in mind to see more players out here get the same opportunities that kids from all over the country, but mainly from out east, have been receiving from the NCDC level.
Now, Coach, I think you've seen it firsthand in the likes of Anthony Sonato, the success that can come from the model right now in the USPHL and NCDC. Anthony Sonato moving with a tender from the Twin City Thunder, and a guy who has gone up and played. You've had some guys play for multiple teams in the NCDC over the years. Can you talk about why a player should choose the USPHL, why the model works well for player development and getting guys moved up through the ranks?
Well, I think one thing that the league as a whole does really well is maintain communication between each other in terms of needs. What is it that certain teams want at the USPHL Premier level, and then obviously the needs at the NCDC level, what they're looking for. I mean, as the season progresses, you could see players are hungry for opportunities. And one thing the NCDC has done well for us is, like I said, is maintain communication with our program in particular, but with several other programs, and finding the right dates to bring kids in, and obviously the ones that feel like are ready at the time. But sometimes it's just for just a showing, right? They want to get a look at a kid firsthand and bring him in and actually play him in games. So there's a lot of processes that are in place for the USPHL Premier in particular, that gives a lot of looks, but also a lot of opportunities for players to get some actual ice time and some visibility with the NCDC. So for us, it's been mainly just that cohesiveness between the two leagues that's helped us provide a lot of opportunities. And obviously with the affiliation process as well, it not only guarantees immediate look from a certain organization, but other organizations are also willing to take in some players, which is something that we've taken advantage of in particular, which is not just pigeonhole ourselves with one team, but to really blanket as many organizations as we can to get our guys up there.
And you guys do it better than ever out there in Metro. I mean, the Metro Jets organization, the development program over the last 2 years that you guys have taken a hold of. I mean, the work that you guys do top to bottom in that organization, watching you all on the road, the professionalism behind it, the way that it's a high character player that comes out of your organization, Coach, and it's something that we always look at, and that's always where we see the success at this level is what does the guy look like that's coming out of your organization when it's all said and done? And it's something you guys do so well. So I'll come to you here on this question. And we talked about before we jumped on, and I've already mentioned the quarantine can build stagnancy. You're going to have a whole group of guys coming into your organization at the end of this summer to start up a new season. What are you telling them to stay in shape, and how can these guys preparing for a combine get ready for a combine for potentially without ice time?
I mean, absolutely difficult for everyone right now, but given the days that we're dealing with right now, I think kids have enough options and enough material at their disposal online that they can obviously do some homework and find some workouts to be able to stay in the best of shape that they can. But as everyone knows, hockey's not like other sports. I mean, we don't have the means to recreate ice or skating specifically. So that's going to be something that's going to be taken into consideration. And in our program in particular, we're fortunate to have a full-time strength and conditioning coach who's got a hockey background, a play professional, and coaches with our program, and Jamie Lovell. And he's done all the research and taken in everything that he can so that we can communicate with our prospective players and our returning players about a program that's going to be best for them, so that they do come into, skating or to a combine or to anything within a few weeks where they're not going to risk getting injured or pulling any muscles and whatnot. So I think if kids, continue to do a good job educating themselves and taking that need to find more information online, they'll be able to do it. But in the end, I think everyone's going to do what they can to make sure they can ease the players in, so that way they don't just go out there and get hurt right away.
Yeah, and Coach, while we've got you, I don't think we can let you leave without talking about the Metro Jets specifically, because I mean, this is a team that has has an incredible lineage and really done a phenomenal job in the last 2 years in the USPHL, not just in terms of the end of season success, not just in terms of the regular season, but also what you talked about in that affiliate program and moving players up to the NCDC to get some looks and getting players to the next level. Talk about the Metro Jets program, and to any prospective players out there, why they should look at and potentially choose the Metro Jets.
Well, I appreciate you asking me, and I think the easiest answer to that is our ownership. I mean, Pete Kamick is a guy who not only is very passionate about wanting to help these student athletes and finding opportunities beyond just junior hockey, but he allows us, the coaches, the management, and everyone involved in the organization, to be able to input their 2 cents, their knowledge, their experience, and what we feel like is best for each kid. And I know every program has a different perspective on how to develop players and how to advance them, but we really feel that we're a selfish program in a sense that we try to really focus in on each player's individual goal, because that could change. Everyone's development curve, everyone's lineage of opportunity could be different, whether it be at the college level or advancing throughout the season to the Tier 2 model in the NCDC. So we try to take in those segments and break them in as the season progresses, and truly just try to get players to find a way to buy into that model. And when we say develop, we really do focus in on that. We try to build a program that's specific to the players, that obviously doesn't conduce negatively to our team, but overall we put product on the ice that we want scouts to be able to look at and see, wow, that's a kid that's ready to make the jump. So we touch on all those facets, whether it's on ice, off ice, training, hockey IQ, video. We try to incorporate all those things in a way where it's organized so that these players come in and they realize, now I'm learning to become a hockey player and I'm not just playing hockey. So for us, it's a lot of fun. We're fortunate that we have a facility that could provide all those elements for kids to do everything they can to get better. And if we find players that commit to that, then they'll find a lot of success with us.
Well, thank you, Coach, for joining us. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find out more about the Detroit Combine, you go to USPHL.com. You can sign up there. You can be one of the 200 max entrants to get in. So get on to USPHL.com and get signed up for that. Is going to be an incredible, incredible event with some of the best minds in hockey. If you want to find out more about the Metro Jets, go to MetroJetsHockey.com. You can find out more about the organization there and some of the incredible work that Coach Quenneville and the rest of the guys out in Metro are doing. It's an incredible organization. This is going to be a wonderful event, and we're just so happy to see hockey back. Of course, we ask everyone to be safe, continue to keep your social distance, and COVID-19 will be taken into account throughout this entire combine. I know there's a lot of minds at work right now making sure this is going to be done not just the right way, not just the best way for the players, but the safest way possible. Coach Quenneville, thank you so much for joining us today on the Dan K Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys, and continue the great work.